Today, I want to talk about why you should not try to make money with whatever thing you're passionate about. First of all, the incentives are wrong from the start. Passion is doing the thing that you love, the thing that you do despite getting money. While getting money is usually achieved by doing something people need. And so, if you start with the wrong incentives, you're trying to push into two different extremes. On one hand, you're trying to do whatever is it that you like doing, and on the other thing, you're trying to optimize for more income. But Marius, what if I have something I love doing and that also people need? You're either Steve Jobs, which means that you perfected your passion and curiosity long enough without the feedback from the market to the point where you yourself became the indicator. You are now what tells the market what's good or bad. And that's only acceptable to do at the apogee. So once you have perfected your passion long enough without any influence from the market, then yes, you can definitely monetize your passion because you yourself are what dictates the market to some extent. But the Ikigai framework is amazing only in retrospect. It's not something you should be using at the beginning because it will overfit. It will make you choose only specific things which you think that work best because they somehow fit with what people need and somewhat they're what you like doing. Take filmmaking for example. You might love doing films, but as a filmmaker, you won't be making the films you yourself want to make, you'll be making what's commercially valuable. So rather than exploring something else, like, I'm not sure, color grading in a very weird way, you will have to do J and L cuts or do some stupid animation in the Fusion tab. So you are constrained and your ability to explore is constrained. Passion needs freedom. Before passion becomes useful, it has to grow, it has to be unbounded, because this is how you end up exploring things nobody else is. This is how you develop what Naval calls specific knowledge, by going and searching into places that the market disregards. You need to do work that doesn't have to be justifiable at the beginning. And you cannot achieve that when you have projects you have to do for other clients. Yeah, obviously, the things you might be doing are within the same niche, but it's not the same as exploring your passions. You'll still be doing things which other people need. 2. The market is always late. The economy only values that which people perceive as valuable. So if your thing, despite being very useful for society, isn't seen by others as useful, it won't be priced that way. I mean, if you think about all the great artists and writers, most of them were valued and appreciated for their work after their death. And that kind of tells you everything you need to know about lagging markets. Because a market won't necessarily reward that which is useful, it optimizes for the thing people seem and perceive as valuable. And that's not always the same. It might be the same, but it's usually not, especially at edges of innovation. Monetization changes your work. You will be optimizing for whatever the system optimizes. You should probably read Systems Theory by Niklas Luhmann, who introduces you into how different systems work and how they operate between each other, and they are autopoietic. And then you'll understand how monetizing your work changes how you define success and then what you end up optimizing for. And as a result, the market is what's gonna tell you what is true, what is beautiful, what is scarce, and what is needed, rather than those answers coming from your own intuition about your own intellectual curiosity. Because this relates very well with another video I made before on why you shouldn't rationalize your startup too much, since by following these core questions the economy gives you, you end up going through the same problem space that other people might be going through, and therefore you won't be developing specific knowledge, which is what gives you an edge in any field. This is why I hate the idea of transforming your passion into an income. It just doesn't work. You pull into two different directions and then you don't get anywhere. And an even worse thing is that you have unreasonable expectations about what work should feel like and be like. You will be resenting what you're doing, and you'll be resenting your passion in itself because Still, you won't be able to do whatever you want with it. There will be some constraints, and there are always things you might not want to do, but you have to, simply because your job is to do what people need. And doing things which people need sometimes includes 60% something you like and 40% something you just don't really care about. And this is a mistake I made myself. I was trying to optimize way too much for the thing I was passionate about and leaving a lot on the table by not doing something people needed. And I wasn't optimizing for money in a conscious way. I was just saying that I'm going to work and do whatever I'm passionate about. But then the truth is, I couldn't really do whatever I was passionate about at my fullest because I had to also think about the money. So, what I'm doing now is simply disconnecting those two things. That which I love is completely different, and it has its own part in my calendar from that which can make me money. And now that I conceptualized it and I put it into words, I looked back at all the things I could have done differently, but even things I have right now and I should be doing, and I know immediately what's the one thing I need to do. I just didn't do it because I was thinking that this is not what I'm passionate about. And now they don't have to conflict with each other. One funny thing is that usually passions used to be productive way back in the days, in an economical sense. If you look at writers, for example, obviously writers are still well paid if they're at the top echelon, but back in the days, most people couldn't read, not even write, so any mediocre writer was already well paid. And this is just how economy works. A new thing appears, and then the people who got early on the wave are the ones who get the most out of it. And then as more people get into this new thing, well, obviously supply starts to grow and sometimes outpace demand, which then results in this work being valued less. Therefore, kids, don't follow your passion.